Welcome to Psych Odyssey, where we guide you through an adventurous quest for your mind, your body, and your spirit. Today, we're going to be talking about gender-based violence. Gender-based violence has been an issue in the past in contemporary society. It has been addressed again and again. And the more we get information and data on it, the more we figure out how to deal with it. So, gender-based violence is violence directed at a person for harmful purposes based on their gender. Sexual violence. This is any form of violence sexually. In most cases it is rape towards children and mostly women, and nowadays even men. When a woman says no, when a man says no, it is no. So any form of forced sex, it is sexual violence. The second type of violence is psychological violence. This is a type of violence where someone plays mind games and even insults that can hurt you. That is psychological violence, because this person is getting to you, getting to your mind, getting to your peace of mind and everything. So insults, coercion, manipulation, all those, they are considered as psychological gender-based violence towards a person. Because by the end of the day, they'll still harm you in one way or another. And it's even worse because most people who cannot handle it well can end up being depressed. They'll end up isolating themselves, and they can even think of taking their lives. The next type of violence is economic violence. This is violence whereby someone breaks your things. You see, when you have an argument with your spouse and they come and break your stuff, that stuff has economic value. They break your TV, they break your stuff, they break your whatever, it has economic value. That is also considered as gender-based violence. When let's say they're supposed to pay child support and they don't pay child support, not paying alimony, or taking somebody else's property simply because you feel they're inferior to you. Maybe when you break up, you take everything, or you just raid this person out of nowhere. That is also considered economic violence. The other type of violence, which is pretty common, is physical violence. Physical violence is very common and it is very disastrous in a lot of cases. Physical violence is when somebody actually puts their hands on you and hits you, beats you, slaps you. That is wrong. Physical violence is very bad. People die from it, people get injured, which is just wrong. So that's the most common form of violence that we have. The effects of gender-based violence on people, they vary from one person to another, but the most common effects are the fact that it lowers your self-esteem or your self-worth. Most people, their self-esteem is really lowered. They just feel worthless. They feel like they're not the same people they used to be. Their confidence goes away and everything. So effects of the lowered self-esteem is mostly isolation. They isolate themselves from the society. They don't want to be seen by people. They're embarrassed because they assume everybody knows what happened. And most people know what happened, so people will look at you differently. They won't see you as the person they used to see you as. So they mostly prefer to just isolate themselves from people. They can cause self-harm. Some people have very different coping mechanisms and some are very harmful. So there are people who can cut themselves, there are people who can drink dangerously, there are people who can punch walls, there are people who can do sorts of things. So self-harm also happens to these people. There are those who get depressed. Most people actually get depressed from the trauma, especially if it's the first time. You will probably get depressed. So depression is also another effect of GBV. They really get depressed, and depression now comes with another whole bag of issues. Then suicide. People actually contemplate suicide after being victims of gender-based violence, especially for a long time. Somebody who is experiencing this consistently is a person who will actually consider suicide. So how we can try to help the survivors of gender-based violence? One, we can listen to them and believe them. When these people go through any sort of gender-based violence, it is traumatizing, it is depressing, it is sad. They are not really, as I said, their self-esteem is lowered. They are not really so confident to walk up to anybody and just talk to them. So the best you can do is when someone chooses to open to you, listen to them and believe them. Don't listen to them like giving them those looks. They're like, Alini Chapa. No, those things, your facial expression, your gestures, show them that you're listening, so show them that you believe them. So when they come up to you, listen to them and believe them. Listen to them. Don't keep interrupting, don't keep asking too many questions. Let them vent, let them talk, let them express their feelings and everything. Number 2, we teach the next generation and learn from them. The next generation are the younger children and the youth mostly. They are very open-minded compared to the older people. As they say, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Yeah, so the younger people are actually more open-minded. They're ready to learn. They're seeing new things that you did not experience at your time. So it's good to teach them, tell them what gender-based violence is, tell them all sorts, because most people actually limit gender-based violence to sexual and physical. But you see, there's psychological. There are even other forms of gender-based violence. There's the psychological, there's the economical, emotional. They don't know that. So someone should not manipulate you and use you vibaya, because it's not gender-based violence. It is gender-based violence. So that's why we need this knowledge. You create awareness. You have to teach them. You have to learn and know, and then pass that knowledge to the younger generation. Teach them, tell them nobody's supposed to do this to you. This is gender-based violence. You should not allow this. This is not supposed to happen. And learn from them as well. Learn from their experiences. The younger generation are actually so free. They're so free. When you talk to our parents, the older people, they tell you they really admire you. In the olden days, they used to be beat by their men. They used to be stolen as a wife. Someone wants a wife, they just time you at the river and capture you, and that's it. But we have that freedom. So you see, they also somehow learn from us something. They learn how to be free, learn how important your freedom is. They see how happy you are, how happy you're doing your things, you're following your dreams. Nowadays, you can just say, I want to be a dancer. And that's it. And you make a living and you live so well out of that. I want to just paint art. That's it. But kitambo, that was not really an option. You have to be a doctor, you have to be a lawyer, you have to be a teacher, you have to be this. But you see, they also admire, so we can also learn from the younger generation, see what they're going through, they explain to us, and then we figure it out. By the end of the day, just teach them, tell them this is gender-based violence, this is not supposed to happen. As long as they can understand, from as early as they can understand, teach them. Number 3, you can reach out, call for the appropriate responses. There are a lot of NGOs and organizations made specifically for this purpose, especially some like the UN mental health organizations, aka psycheodyssey. You can reach out at any time and we will be there for you anytime. So reach out to the appropriate organization so that you find the correct person to talk to, someone who will actually help you, someone who will understand and take you through the process of healing. Number 4, understand consent. No is no. I don't know how I can explain this in any simpler term. No is no. Don't do this thing where a lady says no and you're like, women, when they say no, they mean yes. No is no. Atakama, she's laughing. She's laughing. No. Walk away. Don't keep going. It might end up being a gender-based violence. So let's please understand. No is no. Simple. Understand consent. Number 5, learn the signs of abuse and how you can help. That is why in mental health it is very important to create awareness, because there's always something new emerging. So we also have to get the new data. We have to understand all these things, understand the forms of abuse, understand the forms of gender-based violence, and how you can help this person. That's why we're showing you prevention or how you can at least help this person. So get all the data so that even when you see your friend going through a form of gender-based violence, you know and you tell them, this is gender-based violence. What this person is doing to you, it is GBV, so that you can assist them. That is the only way you can assist them. Knowledge is power. Get knowledge about these things, the new data and the old, so that you can be able to see it, spot it out, and know how to help out your friends or even yourself. It can be happening to you and you're like, oh, so this is gender-based violence. But how will you know that? You have to get knowledge and how you can assist yourself. Number 6, start a conversation. Once you've noticed that your friend or yourself or your somebody around you is experiencing gender-based violence, sometimes be the one to start that conversation. Ask them, because maybe they're ashamed, maybe they're scared, maybe they don't know who to talk to. Don't come out as judgy or you're condemning or whatever. Just come in as a friend and be calm and talk to them and ask them, I've noticed this and this. And if they confirm, yes, this is happening, tell them that is wrong, that is gender-based violence, and it affects you like this. This is why you're like this is why this is happening. Try and explain it to them in a very nice and soft way, so that they don't feel attacked, they don't feel ambushed, they don't feel judged in any way. Then they open up to you and you figure it out from there. So sometimes, your neighbors, you hear the noise at night, the bumping and everything. The next morning, you're good, you look good, you're going to work, okay, good. No, sometimes call them for a cup of tea or something aside. Ask them, I had this last night, are you okay? Start the conversation. Sometimes some people may actually open you, they just don't have somebody to talk to. Number 7, stand up against the rape culture. There's a lot of places where rape is just normal, especially places where women have been oppressed by culture. So the rape thing is not really a big deal. You hear a woman comes and tells you, my husband raped me. People will laugh at her because how can your husband rape you? You're supposed to have sex with your husband. So stand up against such things. This is someone who is trying to reach out. This is someone who is being affected. Listen to them. Stand up against the rape culture. As we said, no means no for both genders. No just means no. No. So stand up against the rape culture. The more we are encouraging it, the more we are allowing it, the more we are laughing about it. There are some men who really brag about it, and their friends are okay with it. They're like, yeah, you're the man, you're the man. No, stand up against that. That is what encourages this sexual violence. Number 8, fund GBV organizations. There are a lot of people who are really trying to come up and speak about it and help these women, be a safe space for them, but they don't have the funding. So if you can fund these organizations, show your support, be there, yeah, and help out these women, help out these children, help out these men who are being affected by GBV. That would be good. Number 9, get more information on gender-based violence. Get more data. Every now and then, as I said, there's new information on mental health, there's new data, there are always new cases here and there. So get all this information so that you can be able to actually get rid of it eventually, yeah? So as I said, the more you have the information, the more you'll know exactly what you're fighting and how you're going to fight it. So we try and get more information, new information, don't get old data. Try and see what's going on right now so that you can help right now. Healing from gender-based violence. This is actually something that is very hard for a lot of people, and this is mainly because they do not get the right assistance. When you're healing from gender-based violence, the first thing you should do is to get away from your abuser. If this person is close to you, if this person is living right next to you, if this person is living with you, the first step we try to do is to get you away from this person so that we stop the abuse now. That is the first thing that should be done. Stop the abuse. And the easiest is to get away from this abuser, away, so that he cannot get to you. So the first step is to cut off. Stop the abuse. Cut off this person, stop the abuse, get away from the abuser. Once you do that, you can heal. But the minute you're still with this person, even if you go for therapy, even if you go for counseling, even if you go for treatment, she has broken your foot, she has got you and all that, you're still coming back to the same person. So it is good to stop the abuse, which is easier when you get away from the abuser kabisa, permanently. The second step, report to the authorities. Go to hospital, you report to the authorities. And I find that reporting to the authorities, when you've been abused, you're supposed to report. But a lot of people do not report, which I understand. Reporting, I found for me, I have experienced gender-based violence. And the first thing when I told my friends, they told me report. And I asked them, how is this going to help me? It's not like these people are going to come and help me. They're not going to come and help. They're going to write it down, give you some OB number, and that's it. No. And they told me, just go, you will see. At least instead of sitting in the house, you're crying the whole time, you're depressed, you're traumatized. No, do something about it. It will make you feel like you actually did something about it. You did not just let it slide like, it's sour. No, do something about it. It kind of gives you back your power. So when I went and actually reported, and this is actually a really hard step for people, and I really came to understand after I experienced it. So when you report, it actually gives you back your power. Yes, they may not be arrested, it may not go further than the report and the OB number that you're given. But let me tell you, to be honest, it gives you back your power. You feel like, yeah, despite this person is still okay roaming around, you have at least done something about it. And the next time it happens, when you go, they won't ask you, but oh, you didn't report last time? You'll show them, last time I did something. Let it be there just in case something happens. And when you do that, you will feel good because you've at least done something about it. You didn't just sit and then every day ask yourself, what if I went to the police station? I should have gone to the police station. I should have done this. I should have reported. I should have. No, just do it. Even if you might not get, I hope you get the right people, but even if you don't, you will actually feel a little bit better. Number 3, get help. Get help. This is why we started PSYCHE. This is why we started this project, and as I said, a lot of people have started these projects for these purposes. We want you to reach out so that we can help you. We're in the position to help you. We are trained for this. We can help you. Reach out. When you reach out to the right organizations, I tell you, you will heal from this trauma. You will heal. But when you sit with it, it eats you up, it depresses you, then you isolate, as you said, you isolate yourself, self-harm, suicidal thoughts, depression, stress. Reach out. Try and look online, the people who can help you. Try and see who can help you. Try and see who can reach out to. Even if you don't have the funds, because most people fear reaching out to organizations because they're like, now how much am I supposed to pay for therapy? How much will it help me just talking to somebody? Let me tell you, it will help you. Reach out. Once you've experienced gender-based violence, most people filter so that you only take in the negative. You know, you ever had a conversation with someone, then the bad thing in your tuta, like a joke. That is what they pick. That is the only thing they pick. They don't pick anything good that you've said in the conversation. They're so negative. They just wait. It's like, hey, imagine, I didn't even eat last. You did not eat last. That is what they want to focus on. The negative parts only. Another distortion is overgeneralization. When you overgeneralize something, it is when you just generalize. Like the way people say, all men are dogs. You know, maybe some man has hurt you in a way, and you just decide all men are dogs. You don't want to try and see if there's somebody good out here. There are people who are actually good out here, but you can't see it because you've generalized everything like that. Jumping into conclusions is another one. Then this comes mostly from the lowered self-esteem. So you might think, you just sit and you see someone and you're like, this person does not even like me. That person has not even done anything, but you, in your mind, you just see, this one does not like me. Or someone here, this one, they're looking at my shoes. I'm sure they don't even like my shoe. They don't like my shoe. So you're just jumping into conclusions. You know, you're so unsure about yourself, and you can't even talk to somebody and confirm. You just want to make your own assumptions. Another cognitive distortion is like personalization. This is when you feel like you are connected to every event that is happening. So maybe you walk into a meeting late and you're like, this meeting has not started because I was late. And maybe they have not started because maybe they're just not ready to start. Maybe they're waiting for some props. Maybe they're just doing something else. But you find a way to just connect everything with you. That's another distortion. Another thing about gender-based violence is the double standards. This is something that a lot of people don't address. And you see, I saw some time back, there was this person who was taking videos about He was doing the double standard thing, actually. So he goes with the girlfriend out on the streets. Then they start arguing. Then he starts pushing her, and the men would come in and hold this man, and other men would even beat him up because, how are you putting your hands on a woman? How would you put your hands on a woman? And then they do the reverse the next day. They go out, they start arguing, and the woman starts beating him, and she's kicking him, and she's punching him, everything, and people are laughing, and they're like, nobody cares. Nobody really helped this man. Why? I feel like most people assume the way a man can beat me is not the same way I can beat him. So I cannot really hurt him. How can I hurt him? But funny enough, we see in our news and everywhere, a man has been killed by his wife. He has been stabbed to death by the wife, or shot or something. So we can actually hurt you. People don't choose to see that, but we can actually hurt you in the same way. The women who tell you, me, I beat him. I beat him. He put his hands on me once and I beat him back, and I realized, kumbe, I can beat him. I beat him every day. I tell him to come back home with chicken. He doesn't come back home with chicken. I beat him. They do that, and you wonder, why are you supposed to beat him? And the minute he'll beat you, he'll be in trouble. You know, if a man is not supposed to slap me, then I'm not supposed to slap him either. If a man is not supposed to punch me, then I'm not supposed to punch you. I'm not supposed to put hands on you in any way. In the same way, you are not supposed to put hands on me. So this double standard is another thing we need to really get rid of. Imagine our dad's kitambo, it's coming and saying, your mother raped me. You'd laugh at your dad, like, how can mom rape you? But nowadays, men are coming up, they're speaking out, they're saying, yeah, I was raped. I was assaulted. My wife, she did this to me, she beat me up. Defamation, that's also psychological abuse. Defamation is really bad. So my wife is doing this, and you see the whole Johnny Depp thing and Amber Heard. Men are now taking back their power. I understand it came from the Kitambo. Kitambo women were the ones who are oppressed mainly. So it's still not really out there yet, vizuri, how men are really being oppressed, but they are. Another reason I said you need to get new data, get new information. You will see that we are now trying to deal with the double standard as well. As you continue to tackle GBV, try to prevent it, create awareness about it, and help the victims, we also look at the other gender, so that we're not only focused on the women and children, also men are getting abused, also men are getting hurt. So we don't look at one side and look this other one we ignore. No, we also look at the other gender, not just one gender and ignore the other. So that we kill it for once and for all. We don't kill it on this side, then it rises on the other side. Let's kill it for once and for all. And the only way we can do that is killing this double standard.